Stripping endothelial keratoplasty, technique and complications. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Praveen. So my topic is on DSEC technique and complications. I think we have two, three topics on the same subject. So I'm just going to cover this in brief. So we all know penetrating keratoplasty is no more an automatic choice for the management of corneal diseases which requires transplantation and especially the endothelial transplantation. So because of the inadvertent complications which are associated with full thickness corneal transplantation like infection, suture related issues, vascularization and rejection, which is much more common in penetrating keratoplasty as compared to the endothelial keratoplasty, and it's more prone for injuries and chances of astigmatism is high. um, so, what are the advantages of DSEC over penetrating keratoplasty? It's the early and predictable visual rehabilitation with minimal refractive change and the tectonic and structural integrity of the cornea. So, you are not going to disturb the contour of the cornea, and minimal ocular surface issues. As such, there are no sutures on the cornea, so the chances of suture related issues are less. And fewer activity restrictions for these patients. So, the surgical technique includes donor preparation, recipient preparation, donor lenticule insertion, and air bubble management to oppose the graft in situ. These are some of the instruments which we commonly use for the management of for DSEC procedure. And the surgical procedure, I use a disposable artificial antechamber is the Catina instruments. We can of course use it for 7 to 8 cases without any problem. So then I use a guided knife to make a partial thickness groove at the limbus, which is around 300 microns. So you can even go up to 400 microns. And use a crescent knife to make a small pocket in the stroma of the cornea, and then use my blunt dissector which has a sharp margin in the tip, and the side it is a blunt side lamellar dissector. Once the dissection is completed, I place it on the Teflon block and punch it with the endothelial side up. So next is the recipient preparation. This is a case of DSEC stage 2. The patient is symptomatic with the few bullae on the cornea. I am combining it with the phacoemulsification. Once the phaco is done, place the lens in the bag and then strip the endothelium. You do this in certain patients, not in all the cases. I do this Descemet stripping, especially in Fuchs I do this, and for those patients who have developed decompensation due to TAS because of the thick inflammatory membrane formation on the posterior surface, those cases I remove the endothelial layer. Otherwise you can directly uh, the graft on the normal endothelium over there, and the graft, the reticule is separated. I use a Sheets glide and I use a Sinskey hook to insert the graft into the antechamber and place the air bubble. This is the same patient, a post-operative picture on day 1 and 2 weeks and 6 weeks. This is the OCT picture of the same patient. You can even go up to 400 microns, even 500 microns, and create a thin lenticule. Of course, handling of these thin lenticules may be a little difficult, but can be easily done. I usually stain these thin lenticules with the tip and glue so that identifying these lenticules in the anterior chamber will be easy, and manipulation in the anterior chamber becomes easy. This is the OCT picture of the same patient, and the thickness of the lenticule here is minimal. It is maybe less than 100 microns. So the complications associated with the DSEC, in brief, it is donor dislocation, primary graft failure due to traumatic insertion of the lenticule, glaucoma, interface abnormalities, and infection of the graft or interface infection, and rejection of the graft. Of course, rejection of the graft is much less compared to penetrating keratoplasty. This is the case of lenticule separation and dislocation. And of course it needs to be repositioned. This particular patient is taken up for the surgery, and you can go to the interface with the help of a Sinskey hook. You can just reposition the lenticule and inject air bubble into the anterior chamber and tamponade it. This is the post-operative picture of the same patient. Another case, there is a separation of the graft from the cornea, and there is fluid accumulation. The graft is not dislocated or it is not subluxated, but it's in situ, but there is fluid accumulation. This particular patient needs intervention. Many of the time it can get absorbed spontaneously, but it's better we intervene and inject air bubble and remove this interface fluid by what is called venting incisions in the paracentral cornea, and milk of the fluid from the interface. So this is the same patient, a post-operative picture after 6 weeks. Other complications like pupillary block and shallow anterior chamber or flat anterior chamber or graft failure, graft rejection can occur with the DSEC patients, but a careful selection of these patients and following a proper technique can result in optimal outcome. Thank you very much. I have one more presentation in this same session. Can I combine? Can I go ahead?
In the same session, do you have?
Pterygium management.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Can I?
Yes.
Thank you.
Dr. Sirish will be continuing with his next topic. It will be on pterygium management, current concepts. While he preparing, any doubts regarding the previous talk?
So Dua is some questions. Yeah,
Sir,
please.
Sir,
Yes.
you can ask
Yeah.
the question.
It is definitely difficult complications, but like while inserting itself, I think we should take care and see to it that this complication doesn't happen. Once it is it's reverse, if it is placed reverse in the anterior chamber, it's very difficult to manipulate in the anterior chamber. If it is slightly a thicker graft, if it is a thin graft, we can always manipulate on the surface, ocular surface, and try to reverse it. If it is a if it is a thick graft more than 150 microns, it's little difficult to manipulate in the anterior chamber.
Mic.
The mic working?
Yes.
So before you separate the graft from the donor what we do is while it is still endothelial side up, you take a marker pen and you put a dot at one place, say at 6 o'clock, imaginary 6 o'clock, and you put an arc across 3 clock hours or at the 9 o'clock. So when you put it in, it has to be, the arc should be on your left and the dot. So
Yeah.
that always helps to tell you which way it is. If the arc is on the wrong side, then you, so in these
Yes.
graphs where you can't have a S stamp or an F stamp, that is how we do it.
Something similar to what we do in DMAC, but how do you reverse it, sir, if it is thick graft in antechamber?
If it, you have to do it with irrigation, so you go
Irrigation.
on irrigate one end and you with a strong irrigation it flips.
Try to flip
But
it,
then
and
you always lose some cells.
in that process we'll lose some cells. Yeah. Thank you.
So in manual DSEC, because of the cuts you have with the crescent, you can identify the stromal surface.
Yes.
W- In microkeratome
Identifying
dissection,
the-
it's difficult to
usually-
identify, so you need to mark it. But in case of manual dissect, because of these serrations which we have on the stromal surface because of dissection, you can see while inserting also that graft is on correct
Usually,
orientation.
From our side, there may not be any problem while inserting. If at all it happens inside
Uh-huh.
the antechamber, maybe little difficult.
Then you can take it out,
Exactly.
see the serrations, and you can insert it again.
Yeah.
Not a traumatic experience.
Yeah, but once
It
the
will be very traumatic
comes
to
out,
the
then
ventricle.
Very true that.
Uh,